Hi there, Emmett the God Singer here. I'm going to talk today about kind words. The kind words are probably the strongest things on earth that you can do. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt you, and it only helps the person you're talking to. I mean, even if it's just talking to your wife, saying, "Honey, that was a great dinner. Thank you. Thanks for cooking that for me." Or everyday things, just thank somebody for something. Tell them what a good job that was. They like that. I learned as a manager, I've been in manager positions most of my life, and I learned to make somebody joyfully work harder. Like I would go to a house that somebody was painting, and I know to always start with a kind word. I go in and I see, three walls are painted and the fourth wall's almost done. There's a huge spot on the side that he just missed. It went right over me. You see right through it. It looked terrible. And a lot of people would have gone in there and they would have said, "You missed a spot. Come on, what's wrong with you?" And suddenly the guy's, and he's down. Whenever I walked in, I would first thing, I was like, "Man, this looks great. What a nice color. Good job. This is amazing. This is one of those spots that you got to work on, but wow, this is great." And they're smiling. And I try and do that with all things. Whether it's, the wife or the children, I always start with a kind word. That reminds me of a story. I was driving to work. I had a meeting at the office at this place I was working at a couple years ago. And it was about an hour and a half drive into the city. So I was just driving along and it was dark because it was early morning. It was in the winter. It was dark, and down in the south it doesn't snow hardly at all. So, but it was drizzling and wet and rainy, just enough where you had your windshield wipers go clink, chink, 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 like that. And it was dark, and I was driving through the rural areas, in town, but not in town. They're just outside of town, where there's lots of red lights and stuff like that. And I was driving, and there was a little car in front of me, and there was a little car in front of that person in the dark. And down here in the south, when a light turns yellow, it usually means go faster so you don't get stuck at the red light. And that's what most people do. So we're just driving along in the rain, and in this drizzle. And that third car up there, this light turns yellow, and that third car slams on his brake, spinning around like this, And the guy that was right behind him, I saw him, and I was driving like this, and he goes behind, and that guy starts slamming on his brakes, and this guy slid sideways, perfect sideways, and right in front of him, and right beside him like that, and just stopped, and and honestly, he was following too close, okay, and he came this close to hitting that guy. So, I said, "I'm gonna make you stay." So the light turned green and we won. And the next light, about a half mile up, it set it up. The other guy turned off. So I pulled up right beside him, and I rolled down the passenger window, and I looked over at him, and I said, "Hey, roll your window down like this," and I could see the guy's eyes go. He was like, "Here we go," and I could see that look on his face. And it was a big black fella driving this little tiny, like a Yugo, a little tiny car. So he rolls down his window, and I looked him straight in the eye, and I said, excitedly, I said, That was an incredible move. What an awesome driver you are. I mean, to pull that away, that was awesome. You know, you're a great driver. And suddenly the guy's whole demeanor changed. He looks up and he puffs and he smiles and he looks me straight now. He says just like he goes, well, thank you. You made my day. And I'm like, anytime, stay safe, brother, like that. And we rolled our windows up and went about our ways. And you know what? That was years ago, and I still think about that all the time now. Watching that guy's face light up, just by a perfect stranger giving him a compliment. And it was a very skillful move. I mean, because he should have hit that guy, in the rain, sliding around like that. But just a kind word like that, and I'm sure every once in a while he thinks about it too and says, man, that was nice, that guy, I'm a good driver. Just make him feel good. You should do that whenever you can. There will be rewards for stuff like that. I mean, I get a reward just, it makes me feel good to think about it, I like to tell my wife when she does something, goes out of her way to do something for me, and tell her how wonderful it is. Or projects, or spends 3 hours on her hair. And I said, man, that's wonderful. I don't do it as much as I should. But you can say kind words to people, even if they're total strangers. I say things to people in the grocery store I don't even know, And, like I said, most of my videos, I'm a very shy person, but, when you get older, after a while, you just don't care anymore. I don't care what you think. So, I mean, you can walk with somebody in the grocery store and say, that's a good choice, Where'd you find that at? That's... And just anything, wow, that's a cool shirt, man. I'd like to have a shirt like that. And you know what? People smile. And you'll find out it's a lot more fun to make people smile than it is to make people frown. So, love God. Make somebody smile. And keep your coffee warm. See you next time.